It's time for Down on the Corner with Dale Hoffman, North Arkansas's premier news talk program. Brought to you by Brewed Awakening Coffee, with 3 locations to serve you. Baxter Regional Medical Center lobby, Highway 62 412 at Balmer Boulevard, and the Walmart East Plaza. And now, Down on the Corner.
Good morning, North Central Arkansas and Southern Missouri. It is Thursday, December 28, 2017. It is 7:03 in the morning. We're getting just a little bit of a late start. Kind of froze up here this morning, throwing a few breakers and everything. But good morning and welcome to Down on the Corner program right here on XL7 TV. Joined with Jerry Hogan and Scooter Callis, our director engineer this morning. It's kind of frosty outside, guys.
It is.
It's cold out there, let me tell you.
It is chilly. All right, I'm up and going.
But
I'm happy.
It's December. It's winter. What are you going to do about it?
It's expected.
When you got a bear by the tail, he goes where the bear goes, right?
There you
Bundle
go.
up.
Bundle up, yeah.
That's what you do.
Bundle
A week
up.
ago, we're sweating, remember? I was driving in a short sleeve shirt with the windows down a week ago.
You can still do that.
Well, yeah,
Nothing
but it's...
prevents you.
Not me. I'm out.
So, how's the Brewed Awakening coffee, Jerry?
Outstanding as always. A good 10W30 consistency, and
It'll warm you up, right?
it'll warm you up and give you wings.
You'll be out here running laps around the building by 10
That's
o'clock.
I do ride with my window down with Brewed Awakening.
Be sure to check out their 3 locations, like Jacqueline told you in the introduction. Balmer Boulevard, BRMC Lobby, and 62 East Plaza, out by Walmart and Anytime Fitness. The best coffee in town is Brewed Awakening. Don't believe me? Try it. Stop by sometime and have a cup of coffee with us. And so,
Well, so how are you this morning?
I'm
Dale?
good.
You're asking everybody else, how are you? Did
I'm
you
good.
freeze coming in? It was 11 degrees when I left the house. 11
I'm
degrees.
showing 13 right now.
It's moved up a little bit.
Yeah, it's warmed up.
Heat
Heat wave here.
wave,
Heat
heat
wave,
wave.
heat wave. My goodness. And, of course, our morning prayer will be brought to you by Roller Funeral Homes of the state of Arkansas. Jerry's working on that and be glad to welcome the Roller Funeral Home people. Pause now for our morning prayer. Heavenly Father, today as we welcome members of the Arkansas State Supreme Court, Lord, I pray for this court. The decisions they make, they set the pace for the state for many years in the future. So, Lord, grant wisdom to our court that they follow not only the will of God, but follow our Constitution to lead our people. Lord, I pray you bless and protect our Supreme Court members and keep them safe. And this is my prayer today. Amen.
Amen.
Morning prayer will be brought to you by Roller Funeral Homes of Arkansas. Excuse me. And we welcome those folks aboard. Morning weather brought to you by your local Sears store, where it's probably just as cold there as it is here.
No.
They have heaters.
They have
though.
heaters there. Good point, Jerry.
Go to your local Sears store right now. Get a heater.
In fact, here's something better. They have exercise equipment, so you can work up your own body heat.
Are you going to demonstrate?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Be sure to check out your hometown Sears store for anything you need. Check them out. 12 degrees in Mountain Home. We have 14 in Harrison, 13 in Hardy, 14 at Mountain View, 13 at Yellville. Marshall checks in at 14, 12 at Calico. Poplar Bluff, Missouri on US 67 at 12. Branson, Missouri on US 65 at 14. While West Plains is at 10 at the 160-63 junction. Boy, look at that radar. Dry, dry, dry. What I always say is dry as a humpless camel in the sunset.
It is.
A little bit in Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, and of course Washington, just to the west of Seattle, is always getting something coming off the coast.
Well, let's just blow your whole white Christmas this week, I think.
You may have
out
a
of
white
the water.
New Year. Did you see? Can you bring this
Wow.
logo up real quick here, Scooter? Look at
I
this.
just missed it by a few hours.
I don't know if you can.
There you go. Now you're talking.
Possible winter storm
there.
close to New Year's. Look at that snow. Oklahoma, Kansas, southern Missouri, western
But they-
Kentucky,
they
half
don't-
of Tennessee.
At least it's not the ice. It's further south. I'll be all right with that. I can
So
live with a
that's
little
what
bit
they're
of snow.
showing. So it's got it basically from Little Rock. Well, it's following might as well say I-30 from Texarkana to Little Rock and then over to Memphis on 40. But that's about
Maybe he got confused at the question. It wasn't Christmas. He thought
That's
you were
what it
asking
was.
about New Year.
His mule's nose
No.
is working. It's just his calendar that's off.
Keep in mind, Christmas time starts about Christmas Eve, which it snowed on Christmas Eve.
Oh, for crying out loud. Here we
Quit
go.
mixing my words
You
around.
just need to get your mule a new calendar.
Oh my gosh.
What do we got on community calendar today, Jerry?
Nothing. It is
This is
the week after
It's slow.
Christmas. I guess if you don't like your present, you can take it back. All stores are taking it back. If you want good deals, go to your hometown store.
I just, I'd rather swap.
Okay.
If you buy something and take it back, they lose the sale. Now, surely there's something in the store you can buy.
Oh,
or swap.
yeah,
I'd rather.
absolutely.
I don't want.
No.
I want if it's something I cannot use and return it. I'll swap it for something I can and pay the difference if I need to.
There you go.
But I just really can't, take the money and run. It's a lost sale for that store.
So you're saying if I bought you a Go Rangers T-shirt, you would go swap it for a Go Cardinals?
I don't know. I
Just-
wouldn't mind having a Go Rangers. That's pretty cool. I like baseball. I'm not against them.
Okay, Cubby fan, you're in
That's
business.
different. Now hold
Oh,
on.
wait. Always in baseball.
Now wait a minute.
Let's not start
Let's
pulling
draw the
triggers here. Don't get them all worked up before the show.
We might need a judge here in a minute.
We're going to have a couple.
A little arbitration.
Here in just a minute, we're going to welcome Chief Justice of the Arkansas Supreme Court, John Dan Kemp, and Associate Justice Shawn Womack. And so it's quite an honor to have these gentlemen appearing on the program today. Quite an honor.
Awesome.
And so, anything else we need to cover before we take a quick break?
I think we're pretty good this morning. Like I said, between Christmas and New Year's, not a lot going on in town. Things are pretty
I'm
quiet.
sure there can be some New Year get-togethers,
Oh, yeah.
But-
There's no doubt the party is going to start. I don't know that I'll be up for New Year's. But
My party ends about 9:05.
what we've started doing in the past, just because we get so many people give us a hard time, you weren't up for New Year's, so we set our alarm clock to like 5 minutes before New Year's, and we wake up and we turn on the TV, we watch the ball drop, and we can safely say we were up for New Year's.
Yep.
There you go.
I mean, I don't
They got
celebrate
beat.
when I change my calendar from January to February, so why December? I mean, it's just whoop-de-doo, so it's going to be 2018.
It's going to be a good year, though.
It'll be a good year.
For us, it'll be a good year.
Anyway, Scooter, take us a break. We're going to welcome the Chief Justice of the Arkansas Supreme Court and Associate Justice Shawn Womack here in a few minutes, so stick around. We will be right back.
Jim Brown Company keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's not. A trusted name in the mountain home community, Jim Brown Company provides timely heating and cooling installation and repairs. Our certified technicians incorporate new technology on every job to provide you with the most advanced services. At our metal fabrication shop, we handle projects big and small. We've created everything from commercial ducts to custom designs.
I'd recommend Jim Brown Company to my friends and neighbors. The reason being they have high-tech equipment. Their service techs are well qualified for the job that they do, and they also send me a report after all the work is done so I know exactly what my unit's doing.
By visiting our showroom, you can learn all about our heating and cooling products. We'll educate you on your options and help you decide on the right solution. For total comfort at your home or business, choose Jim Brown Company. Quality service with a family name since 1964.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detail services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care in Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
Coming in 2018, VHF Archery Range, brought to you by DeerHunterFan.com TV and Steadyform. This 10,000 square foot indoor climate-controlled archery range will feature 3D targets, 3D pop-up, and state-of-the-art video shooting. DHF Archery Range will be open to the public and available for all ages. It's a great facility for hunters and archers alike and located in the center of the Ozarks in beautiful Bull Shoals, Arkansas. That's DHF Archery Range, coming in 2018. Keep on the lookout for more details and their grand opening announcement soon.
They said, I'm not ready to move. I'm not ready for such a change. I'm not ready to give up my independence. Then, after receiving a lot of love and encouragement, they moved to the Good Samaritan Society. They said, I should have done it years ago.
Senior care and services from the Good Samaritan Society. why would I recommend Hospice of the Ozarks? Because I know the people that work there, I know their hearts, and I know that their desire is to help people with the suffering and the anxiety and the things that can come with either terminal diagnosis or a terminal condition. We want them to have a peace of heart and to have a comfort and to know that someone's there to help them through that so they can enjoy the time that they have.
You've tried medications just cover up the pain, and you've tried dieting to help lose weight. Before you try something drastic like surgery to get rid of the numbness and tingling, why don't you try a better approach to health? Hi, I'm Dr. Charles Osgood, and at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we heal the whole person the natural way.
At Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we take a hands-on approach to chiropractic care, massage therapy, and nutritional counseling. Our 20 years of service has led to successful results.
When I come in to see Dr. Osgood, sometimes after one adjustment, I have immediate relief. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 adjustments.
I recommend Mountain Home Family Chiropractic because it really works and keeps me pain-free.
Mountain Home Family Chiropractic supports the community by donating to Mountain Home Food Basket and the Lions Club. Request an appointment with us today at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic. Excellence for your body and frame alignment.
Hello, I'm Charles.
It is 7:14 on this Thursday, December 28th, and what an honor for me to welcome the Chief Justice and Associate Justice of the Arkansas Supreme Court, the Honorable Dan Kemp and the Honorable Shawn Womack. Gentlemen, thank you and welcome.
Oh, thank you, Dale. Appreciate it.
And I want to say publicly and personally thank you for the invitation to the swearing-in ceremonies back in January. That is the highlight of the year. That was so much fun. That was a lot of fun.
Surely you had bigger things this year.
Well,
a new TV show maybe.
But
we appreciate you coming down.
It was fun. I rode down with Tad Rogers, Pastor Tad Rogers of First Baptist Church. He did the benediction at the invitation of Judge Womack here, and it was just it seemed like a new generation of leadership was that I don't know. It just felt good that day, you know.
Well, it felt good to me too.
I bet it did. So how'd you like both of you had to run a statewide campaign, 75 counties to get the Supreme Court election under your belt. What was it like, Judge?
Well, I really enjoyed it. I had a chance to reconnect with old fraternity brothers from college and classmates from law school. So I really enjoyed that. Made new friendships, you know, all across the state. So it's an enjoyable experience for me.
So the diversity in Arkansas, if you go from Fayetteville to Paragould and Pocahontas, it's two different worlds. How do you learn to relate to the needs and to relate what you can do on the court, on that bench, for the difference of people? You go from Pine Bluff to Fayetteville to Pocahontas, it's a different world out there. From El Dorado to Little Rock, from Mountain Home to Marshall, you know?
Well, and I think that's the beauty of our system. Having an election system instead of an appointment system, it forces us to get out and see people from all walks of life, from all parts of the state, from the Delta to the mountains, from the river valley. You go see those parts of the state where you've got the row crop farmers, those parts of the state where you've got the folks that raise chickens and cows. You see the tourism and retirement economy up here. You see the timber and defense economy in South Arkansas. So you get out and you see what Arkansas is all about. And I think by having elections, we're put in a position where we have to do that. And I think that's a good thing. I think if we were in an appointment system where one person picked who was going to be on the Supreme Court and it was someone who was from Little Rock or from Fayetteville, and that's all they ever experienced, they would have a much different perspective. But the way our system works, we have 7 justices. We're spread throughout the state. We're staggered over different time periods and terms. And by getting out and meeting people in Texarkana, from Mountain Home to Texarkana is about as far as you can go within the state, or El Dorado. I had campaigned in North Arkansas for myself and years ago for other people a lot, but that's a different environment down there. When you go and spend time in Hope at the Watermelon Festival, you have people talking to you about different issues maybe than when you're in Jonesboro talking to
exactly
folks at the college versus folks who are at the chamber or some other business or whatever interest they may have in Southwest Arkansas. It is a diverse economy. It is a diverse populate, and so I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, one thing I noticed, Dale, is that when you get out and campaign and talk to people, they're free to give you their opinions on how they see the court system's working.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had an appointed system, you wouldn't get that. Because as judges, we're kind of isolated, so we don't get out that much as far as hearing opinions of the general public. But when you're out campaigning, you hear those opinions because people freely give those to you.
When you're in a campaign, you have to listen and you have to be able to respond, whether or not you're up to date on the subject matter or not when it comes to chicken farming or row crop or whatever, or timber. But yet you have to be able to respond in a caring manner to get that vote. So you've got that one-on-one, where if it was an appointed system, in my opinion, the appointee really wouldn't care what the general people thought.
And I think that's the danger of that type of system. You have folks that may be the job itself is somewhat insulating because you're limited in where you're spending your time and who you're spending your time with to a small group of people doing the work. But the process to get to the job should not be insulating. We as elected officials, and clearly judges are different in terms of the rules that we have for our campaigns and what we can talk about and things we can do than, say, someone running for a state senate or a state house or even a governor's seat.
There it's wide open, but you guys are really restricted.
But I think we all share the need to have the interaction with the constituents, and like the chief said, people are not shy about telling you what they think, and we need to hear that.
Yeah. That's true. What did you gentlemen learn about yourselves during this campaign and the irony of being from Mountain View and Mountain Home? We've got members on the Arkansas State Supreme Court from Mountain View and Mountain Home, Arkansas. And that, to me, I'm proud of that fact that we have small town Arkansas represented on our court with the Chief Justice from Mountain View. I think that's outstanding.
Yeah, what I learned is it doesn't matter where you're from. If you get out and work hard, from a small town, get out and work hard and get your message out, that people respond to it.
I mean, when you were running and you said I'm running for Chief Justice Arkansas Supreme Court, I'm from Mountain View. Where? You're doing what? Because I'm tired of Little Rock. Little Rock this, Little Rock that, or, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm so proud to see Mountain View and Mountain Home represented on that court.
And you'd be surprised how many people confuse Mountain View and Mountain Home.
That's true.
Hey, I'm from Mountain Home. Oh, you guys have the Folk Center. Well, no, they have the Folk Center. We have the lakes and the rivers.
Yeah, most people are familiar with Mountain Home whenever I say Mountain View. And it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
So, when I was at the swearing-in ceremonies, the big thing during the last administration, in the presidential administration, was judges legislating from the bench. And I remember a couple of speeches where that's not going to happen with the Supreme Court, that you gentlemen are very firmly planted on following the Constitution, not only of the United States, but the state of Arkansas, and the importance of that.
Yeah, I think we have a deep appreciation for the separation of powers. And, particularly with Shawn serving in the legislature, I think he recognizes that. And, has probably even more deeper appreciation of that. So, I think we all need to recognize that. There's a place for the legislative duties, judicial duties, executive branch duties. And, they're separate. And hopefully our decisions will reflect that.
So did you bring a lot of that? I mean, you've been in the House and the Senate, plus you worked in Washington, D.C. for several years before coming back.
Can't keep a job.
No, you just keep moving up the ladder. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we kind of hinted at it a minute ago when we were talking about the elections, and judges are restricted about talking about certain things. So, we can't talk about specific cases that may come before us or issues that are likely to come before us. We're in somewhat of a box, versus when you're running for governor, you go out and say, if you elect me, I'll do X, Y, and Z. Or if you're running for a legislative seat, if you elect me, I'll vote this way on a bill. Well, we can't do that. We can't prejudice ourselves on a particular case or controversy that may come before the court. So I can't say, if you elect me on this issue, I'll rule this way. That would be a violation of our ethical rules. And you don't want your judges doing that anyway. You want your judges to listen to the facts of the case and apply the law. But what I did do during the campaign, and I think to some extent what we all do is, or what we have the ability to do, is talk about kind of our general judicial philosophy. And I would tell folks I have a pretty conservative judicial philosophy. That's maybe something different than a conservative political philosophy, but what I mean by that is an originalist idea. The Constitution meant what it said when it was written. A textualist idea, the idea that the legislature passes a law and we need to follow the words written in that law. Whether we agree with it or not, the power of policy doesn't belong to judges. We're not policymakers. The power of policy belongs to the people, either individually or through their elected representatives. And when they elect representatives who write words down in a statute, we're bound to follow that. We can interpret what it means and how it applies to the facts of a case, but we're not free to say, well, I don't really like what they did, so I'm just going to do something different.
Right.
And when we talk about the separation of powers, I think that's where that rub is. In judicial activism, in my mind, is a judge doing something that is beyond their power to do, or something that is beyond what the Constitution intended them to do, and trying to encroach into what either a legislative or an executive official should do. And I think as long as we all, regardless of which branch we're in, as long as we all stay within the lane that the Constitution designed us to drive in, we're on pretty good footing. And then occasionally when somebody veers out of that lane, that's where we have to react.
Want to add to that?
No, I agree with that. The legislative branch is the policy-making branch. It shouldn't be the judicial branch.
I remember I was visiting with Justice Rhonda Wood one time, and I said, when you're working on something, how do you break this down? And she said, you remember diagramming sentences in 7th grade? I said, yes. I said, sometimes we get that law and we break it down to literally break that sentence apart, whether it's in the Second Amendment or the First Amendment, just to break it down to make sure that we're understanding what was written. Have you gone that far?
Where is the comma?
Where's the comma? Exactly.
That can change the outcome of a case.
It can. Yes.
So, and that goes back to that textualist approach. Reading the text and seeing what was written, and not trying to read something into it that's not there, or skip over something that is there. And it does sometimes come down to, what order did they put the words in? Where is the punctuation?
Exactly. And Andrew Bailey was here yesterday. We were talking about campaigning for judicial, and I told the story. We were at a meeting here in Mountain Home when Justice Rhonda Wood was running. I think it's when she was going for a Court of Appeals. A gentleman held out a $50 bill as a campaign contribution. And she was shaking hands, the motion of just shaking hands. That 50 came out, and both of her hands just went up the air. Whoa, like this. And I want to talk about the honesty of the court. I can't even touch that, she said. I mean, literally, she wouldn't even take and put her fingerprints on that $50 bill. I said, well, if it's okay, I'll hold on to it until the appropriate time. So I did. I got permission from the gentleman. Here's how close they followed that. I went to the bank and I made a cashier's check to that campaign from that gentleman. Got his name, followed every rule that I could think of. Mailed it to the campaign, but the postmark on the envelope was 1 day early. They sent it back. I took the check back, had it remade with the correct date after the proper time that contributions could be received. Because, see, they can't solicit. She did not solicit. It was a gift. I had to redate the check and resend it. That's how honest it has to be.
And that goes into some of those different rules we have for the campaign process. If you're running for a non-judicial seat in Arkansas, you can raise money for 2 years before the election. You can
2 years? Is that
for 2 years?
So, like, if I was running for state senator, I could raise money for 2 years.
So if you're running in the 2020 election, you can go back 2 years from that and start raising money. You can ask for money directly. With judges, it's different. We can't directly request campaign funds.
So why is that?
And we can only raise money within the campaign apparatus for 6 months before the election. So, there are a lot of rules that limit how the fundraising is done, who can do the fundraising, like you said, the process of when it comes in, how it comes in, who's responsible for asking for it or handling it or managing it. So, it's a pretty.
So you have a strict code of ethics.
Yes.
With this court, very strict code of ethics.
And that applies to all judicial candidates in the state. Yeah. So it's not just Supreme Court candidates or members, but it's Court of Appeals, Circuit Judge, District Court.
Now, like, if you carry that code of ethics into the court, and I'm sure, what goes behind closed doors stays behind closed doors, but yet when you're on that bench and you're hearing the final testimonies of a case, is there still a code of ethics, of protocol, when you're hearing the final arguments for a case that come before your court?
Well, it applies across the board. So if you discovered something when you get into the case that you didn't realize, you might not realize you have a conflict going into the case, but if you realize there is some reason for a conflict that would either appear to the public, might cause the public to think, well, he or she's not going to be impartial because of that issue or that fact, then you have a duty and obligation to consider, well, can I fairly and impartially decide this, knowing what I know now?
Yeah.
So sometimes you have those situations.
Wow. And you just have to have that education, or that is it education, or that inner gut feeling that I can't rule, or have you ever had to recuse yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I don't know that I've had to recuse on a main case. We have motions, we have petitions, and then we have full-blown cases. But I've had to recuse on a few motions. I had one that, and maybe we'll get into this later, the way cases are assigned.
Yeah, that's
to
what
us,
I want to do coming in after the break.
Every case has someone who's responsible for that case as the main justice on it. But I had a motion. It wasn't my motion. It was someone else's motion. But when it came up in the days getting ready to vote on that motion, and I'm reading through it, it was a case from this area, from when I had been circuit judge. Well, I knew it wasn't my case, but there was just something in the back of my head that kind of, a little bell that went off that said, that the name is familiar.
Really?
And, as a circuit judge here, we have 4 circuit judges in this area.
Right.
So, I was a circuit judge for 8 years, and if Judge Webb or Judge Putman were unavailable, sometimes I would sign orders for them. If I was unavailable, working in a different county, sometimes they would sign orders for me. So I had my staff go back and pull the file, and sure enough, like 3 years earlier, I had signed a warrant in a case, and we caught it, and hopefully you
so
always
would
catch
that have
those,
been an ethics violation had you not recognized that name? And somebody says, well, no, you did this 3 years ago in Baxter County or Boone County.
Yeah, I mean, potentially it could have been, but we can't rule on cases where we were involved prior
in previous
to the court.
years. How far back does that go? 3, 5, 10 years, or forever?
As long as you ruled on it at some time in the past, then that restriction would apply.
Wow. So 5 of our 7 members are former Court of Appeals judges. We both came directly from the circuit bench to the Supreme Court. So you get those cases, and you deal with so many cases, you don't always remember the name. So you have to look for things that stand out to you. On the main cases, on the full-blown cases, it's a lot easier because you're getting a lot of information on those versus sometimes maybe when you're just dealing with a motion, you're getting a little snapshot of what that case is about, and you kind of have to dig and have those checks in place.
When we come back, I want to talk about the procedure and talk about from the local bench, the Court of Appeals, to the Supreme Court. We'll have about 15, 20 minutes to talk about that in the second break. We're visiting with members of the Supreme Court, State of Arkansas, Chief Justice Dan Kemp and Associate Justice Shawn Womack. And I want to welcome Mountain Home Police Department for our security this morning. And Scooter, we need to take a break. What do you say? I'm out of coffee. I need more coffee.
Charles Ferguson. Here at Mountain View Chevrolet, we still do business the old-fashioned way with honesty and integrity. And we have a good inventory of new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs from large to small. Our service department has all GM certified technicians, and our friendly salespeople are ready and eager to fit a car truck to your needs in a price range you can afford. We also have a lot full of pre-owned cars and trucks, program and new car trade-ins to choose from. So come see us at Mountain View Chevrolet.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast and lunch for 2011, the Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Or stop in later in the day for a tasty sandwich, salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with the pie lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant, located on the square in Mountain Home. Your White River getaway starts at Cotter Trout Lodge, where you find convenient, clean, and affordable accommodations right in the heart of Cotter, Arkansas. Take advantage of the Natural State Fly Shop across the road for all your supplies and guided fly fishing needs. Countless delicious homemade menu options await to satisfy your hunger cravings at the White Sands Cafe. Your complete White River getaway is cradled in the east arm of the historic Ruthven Rainbow Bridge at the Cotter Trout Lodge, Natural State Fly Shop, and the White Sands Cafe.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
More than just propane, Reeves Propane provides you full-service propane delivery as well as tank and piping installation. We are your dependable choice, offering the very best in personal service with on-time deliveries and competitive prices. Reeves Propane also sells and installs tankless water heaters and appliances and can even convert your gas cook stove to liquid propane. So no need to fuss and cuss about bad service. Call us at Reeves Propane. We greatly appreciate your business and God bless.
Hi, I'm Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup. If anybody needs trash service in the area, please give us a call. Arch Trash Service is veteran owned and I've been in the local area resident for over 20 years. I'll provide a better service than the other guys and even provide front door service trash pickup for those that aren't able to take their trash to the curb. We'll also pick up almost anything and even provide free recycling. I am Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup. And please give me a call for all your trash service needs.
With a large showroom of over 13,000 square feet, the Furniture Depot is your local choice for quality name brand furniture at prices anyone can afford. They carry a great selection of catnapper recliners, power recliners with lumbar support, and lift chairs. Check out Furniture Depot's variety of living room and dining room sets in various styles and designs. And don't forget about their mattress gallery featuring Serta, Symbol mattresses, and adjustable beds. Family owned and operated, that's Furniture Depot, located in the Ozark Shopping Center in Mountain Home.
Life is too short to wear boring clothes. Welcome to Shabby to Chic Salon and Boutique, where we carry the latest trends and fashions and accessories at prices anyone can enjoy. Feel beautiful while looking fabulous with a large range of fashions that fits anyone's sense of style. You're sure to discover something unique and new at every visit. Shabby to Chic also features 12 professional stylists, aesthetics by Amy J, a nail technician, and 4 tanning beds. Excite your style at Shabby to Chic Salon and Boutique in Mountain Home.
Jim Brown Company keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's not. A trusted name in the Mountain Home community, Jim Brown Company provides timely heating and cooling installation and repairs. Our certified technicians incorporate new technology on every job to provide you with the most advanced services. At our metal fabrication shop, we handle projects big and small. We've created everything from commercial ducts to custom designs.
I'd recommend Jim Brown Company to my friends and neighbors. The reason being they have high-tech equipment. Their service techs are well qualified for the job that they do, and they also send me a report after all the work is done so I know exactly what my unit's doing.
By visiting our showroom, you can learn all about our heating and cooling products. We'll educate you on your options and help you decide on the right solution. For total comfort at your home or business, choose Jim Brown Company. Quality service with a family name since 1964.
Have you ever noticed?
.37 on this Thursday morning, and real quick, I want to wish a happy birthday to Bob Rechtenwald.
Oh, yeah.
It's his birthday today.
Forgot about Bob.
Doing a little recovery there. Happy birthday, Bob. And once again, thank you to Mountain Home Police Department for security today. Well, we have the Chief Justice, Dan Kemp of the Arkansas Supreme Court, Associate Justice Shawn Womack. Gentlemen, once again, welcome. And let's talk about the process of the Arkansas Supreme Court, because not everybody knows about the court or even who's on the court. So if I had an issue that went to the Supreme Court, step by step by step, what happens?
You want to go first or you want me to?
Flip a coin.
Go ahead, you start.
Well, the way I would approach that is I would talk about the type of cases we get first and kind of break it down that way. We get, under the Constitution, we have several categories where we have what's called original jurisdiction on appeals. So the big ones that most people are going to hear about and read about are going to be the death penalty cases and the life imprisonment cases. Those come to us instead of the Court of Appeals. If we have cases that involve elected officials and what we call extraordinary writs, a writ of mandamus where someone's trying to make an elected official perform their duties, or a writ of prohibition where they're trying to prohibit an elected official from doing something that they're not allowed to do. We get constitutional issues of first impression that haven't been decided by a court before. We get election issues. So, kind of the big issues that come up through the appellate system in our state, those come to us versus some other issues that would go to the Court of Appeals. So, we get those cases, and as I mentioned earlier, some cases are full-blown cases where we are deciding the case. Sometimes we get motions in cases every week that we're dealing with where we have to resolve something, maybe for a case that's coming down the pipeline later. We get petitions for review when the Court of Appeals has heard a case, and people don't have an automatic right to appeal to the Supreme Court, but they can file a petition for review and ask us to take the case, and then we can decide.
Does the Supreme Court have the right to refuse a case?
On a petition for review, generally we do. If it's, for example, a death penalty case or one of those original jurisdiction cases, I don't think we have any discretion.
We'd have to hear those.
So. Really? And then petitions for rehearing and things like that. If someone doesn't like what we've done, we're the court of last resort in Arkansas. They can file a petition and say, here's why I think you guys got it wrong. Would you hear it again? That doesn't happen very often because we give a pretty thorough look at the cases before the opinions ever go out. So. But then when the cases come in, and I don't want to take all the time, we have an assignment process, and I'll let you maybe talk about the assignment and how those are distributed. And
that's a random assignment process where a case will come in. We'll have a main judge that'll work up that case more thoroughly, because generally...
Meaning a Supreme Court judge?
A justice. They'll have that case, and they'll work it up more thoroughly as far as researching it and then presenting it to the court. So each of the justices are going to have a main case, usually probably every 2 weeks on the average. And we'll present that to the court and present their opinion as to how the case should be decided.
Oh, okay.
And then there'll be what we call a backup judge who will also research it very thoroughly and give their opinion. Hopefully they will agree with the main. And of course there's 7 justices on the court, and you have to have 4 or more to decide a case.
Now, you as Chief Justice, do you get the same assignment as the others? Do you have to stand?
No, it's just the same random assignment. Yes.
Really? Really?
Yeah, so the Supreme Court Clerk's Office, when a case is filed, it gets filed with the Clerk's Office, and then they have a random assignment. I guess really the only time when it's not random is when a case is coming back to us where we've done something before. I think they usually try to assign that back to the justice that had it originally. And then in addition to the main cases that we have, each week, each of the 7 of us will be responsible for a certain number of motions and petitions.
So each justice, including the Chief Justice, could get a case to review to bring before the court.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
yes.
And the way it works when we conference, the 7 of us sit around the table, and whoever is the main justice on the case will present their case, and then whoever is the backup justice will come in next and present what they think about that case, and then we'll go around in seniority from there. And so each of the 7 members can have their input on what they think about a particular case. That's where you get your argument back and forth. Well, I agree with you here, but I disagree with you there.
So how do you work that out?
You keep talking till you have 4 votes.
Just get your 4 votes, and then the case is decided basically. So then the judge, if the main judge gets the 4 votes on the way they present the case
right.
and the way they think that the case should be decided, then that justice is going to write the majority opinion.
Okay.
And that'll be
so when I read in the newspaper the Arkansas Supreme Court ruled blah 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 blah, that means that at least 4 on the bench on the court agreed.
Yes.
Has it ever been a 7-0 decision?
Oh, yeah. A lot of them.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, we have 7-0 decisions on the main cases. I mean, I think probably just about every week we have stuff that's either 7-0 or 6-1. Not everything, but some of them. I mean, even though we all have maybe a different approach to how we come to the cases, the reason so many cases end up as 7-0 or 6-1 is because the law in most cases is fairly clear.
Right.
And so we're all looking at the same set of facts, the same law, whether it be a constitutional provision or a statute, or looking at precedent of our court, or in some cases precedent from a federal court, and applying that. Now, occasionally we will reach separate, different conclusions, but you do have, I would say, in a majority of the cases, either 7-0 or 6-1, because it's fairly clear when you read it, and so some of the nuances don't necessarily happen from the standpoint that we disagree on the main issue, but it may be that on appeal there were 5 issues raised, and if a case is going to be reversed on this one issue, maybe some of the justices say, well, we're going to reverse it and send it back on that one issue. We don't need to talk about the other issues.
Send it back to court.
Remand it back to the circuit court that decided the case.
Okay. So now, when I was where we had the swearing-in ceremonies, the podium where my pastor did the benediction, what is that podium used for right there? Of course, you've got all the Supreme Court justices, the Chief Justice right there on the bench. What is that?
That's used for oral arguments.
Okay.
So whenever we have court, or the Court of Appeals has court, we have it in that courtroom.
Okay.
So you'd have the 2 parties. Usually it's going to be 2 parties going to be presenting their argument.
Okay.
The appellant would argue first from the podium, have 20 minutes to argue. Justices many times will have questions. Sometimes all 7 justices will have questions for.
So there is that
attorney.
discussion?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Now, when you say argument, what this is part 1 and part 2, or either
well, they're
side
presenting.
What is considered the argument is what you're deciding.
Their strong points of why they think the case should be reversed, because the appellant's the one that's bringing the case up, saying, well, the trial court ruled this way, but we think the law provides that the trial court should have ruled this way, the other way. So they'll write a brief and submit that to the court, and we'll have already read those briefs by the time we get to the oral argument. So the justices will be familiar with what that case is about, what the legal issues are, what the facts are, and then that's why you have these questions to say, well, counsel, did you consider this, or what about this, and kind of delve into their argument and what the law is.
Do you have a chance to review anything to research what is going to be brought before you before the argument is presented to the court?
Yeah, so we get cases. The clerk has a timeline for how things flow once they come into to the Supreme Court clerk's office. Excuse me, but we get cases in our office where they actually deliver the cases to our office or put it on the software program that we use. Generally about 4 weeks before we conference a case or hear arguments in the case. In every case, the parties have the opportunity to file briefs and response briefs. The vast majority of cases, they will stop at that point. They'll submit it on the briefs. Here's the record from the trial court. Here's our argument in writing. You guys decide the cases. We have time allotted every month for oral arguments, but it doesn't happen as often as you would think. A lot of parties or attorneys opt not to go into oral argument, but we get those about 4 weeks ahead of time, so we can start looking at them. Our staff can start looking at them and doing the research and reading the cases that they've cited in their briefs, and then really in the last week or so before a case is scheduled for argument or conference is when you really start ramping up. Sometimes on a case you'll do it 2 or 3 weeks out, but you start ramping up your preparation if you're the main justice to present that case to the court, because when we get it 4 weeks out, well, at the time we get this case, we're getting ready to conference another case, and then there might be another one between here and there that we're responsible for. So there's kind of a continuous pipeline of cases that are in the flow, and as the chief said, by the time you get to oral argument, we've had those cases in our possession, the briefs for roughly 4 weeks, and so we've read what they've argued. We've gone to the cases and statutes that they've cited, and we've looked at that. And so sometimes it's a fairly clear case, but they want to argue it anyway, and there won't be a lot of questions from the justices.
There are a limited number of cases that are going to be argued. We don't have that many requests, and then we have to decide based on the requests we get which cases are going to be granted oral argument. And that is an open public courtroom. Anytime you have an oral argument, we invite anybody in the public to come down and observe. And the court also has a program which we go around the state on, a program called Appeals on Wheels. In fact, we've been up here in Mountain Home, what was it, Shawn,
2015.
Really?
When Justice Scalia was here.
Yeah,
The night that he spoke at the college, we had the Arkansas Supreme Court having arguments at the college that morning on a pretty consequential case. And so, and recently we did Fayetteville. We did Appeals on Wheels in Fayetteville.
Just past October.
And then back in the spring we did Clinton, which is the home, both of those towns were homes of members of the court. Sure. And but one thing about the oral arguments, you can view all those on our website. It's arcourts.gov.
Really?
And so you can go on, you can look at the past oral arguments. We live stream them.
That's right.
We have 2 cases that were set for execution last spring.
Yeah.
Out of the 8 cases in that original execution schedule that the governor set, 2 of them that were stopped by our court for various reasons are kind of coming back to us, and they're set for oral argument later in January.
January 25th.
So if you wanted to watch those cases, those will be pretty high-profile type issues that we'll have. And
I'll remember that. That'd be interesting.
You can watch them live. You can go back and watch them later. They're archived on the website.
We need to take a quick break. We're visiting with Chief Justice Dan Kemp, Arkansas Supreme Court, Associate Justice Shawn Womack. Break time.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detail services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
Coming in 2018, VHF Archery Range, brought to you by DeerHunterFan.com TV and Steadyform. This 10,000 square foot indoor climate-controlled archery range will feature 3D targets, 3D pop-up, and state-of-the-art video shooting. DHF Archery Range will be open to the public and available for all ages. It's a great facility for hunters and archers alike and located in the center of the Ozarks in beautiful Bull Shoals, Arkansas. That's DHF Archery Range coming in 2018. Keep on the lookout for more details and their grand opening announcement soon.
They said, I'm not ready to move. I'm not ready for such a change. I'm not ready to give up my independence. Then, after receiving a lot of love and encouragement, they moved to the Good Samaritan Society. They said, I should have done it years ago.
Senior care and services from the Good Samaritan Society.
Why would I recommend Hospice of the Ozarks? Because I know the people that work there, I know their hearts, and I know that their desire is to help people with the suffering and the anxiety and the things that can come with either a terminal diagnosis or a terminal condition. We want them to have a peace of heart and to have a comfort and to know that someone's there to help them through that so they can enjoy the time that they have.
You've tried medications just cover up the pain, and you've tried dieting to help lose weight. Before you try something drastic like surgery to get rid of the numbness and tingling, why don't you try a better approach to health? Hi, I'm Dr. Charles Osgood, and at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we heal the whole person the natural way.
At Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we take a hands-on approach to chiropractic care, massage therapy, and nutritional counseling. Our 20 years of service has led to successful results.
When I come in to see Dr. Osgood, sometimes after one adjustment, I have immediate relief. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 adjustments.
I recommend Mountain Home Family Chiropractic because it really works and keeps me pain-free.
Mountain Home Family Chiropractic supports the community by donating to Mountain Home Food Basket and the Lions Club. Request an appointment with us today at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic. Excellence for your body and frame alignment.
$7:54 on this last Thursday of 2017. It's been quite an honor for me to welcome the Chief Justice, Arkansas Supreme Court, and Associate Justice Shawn Womack and Dan Kemp. Gentlemen, once again, thank you. It's been an honor for me to have you here.
Dale, thanks for the invitation.
And it was, I mean, I look back on the swearing-in ceremonies. I was so honored to be invited, and I thank you once again for that invitation. It was a lot of fun.
Glad you were able to come. It seems
fun.
Almost like a lifetime ago, but that was just
not
earlier
even a
this
year ago.
So.
What was it, like the 17th of January, I think, or something like that. But it was just a beautiful day in Little Rock, and there was an excitement in the air. I think a new beginning. You know, it's just for me it was fun. But anyway, we've got about 6-7 minutes before we end the show, and I just want to let you gentlemen, what's on your mind, what's on your heart, and what makes you tick. I mean, what's your driving force here to serve Arkansas in the way that you do?
Dale, it's just I guess it's just a desire to do our best. You know, I think Shawn would probably share in that as well. You know, do our best as far as the job we have before us. You know, we had a certain job as trial judges on the circuit court bench, where we were just responsible for making decisions based on the facts presented to us. There, as circuit court judges, we're fact finders. You know, we're determining what the facts are and applying the law to those facts and making a decision. And on the appellate bench, the Supreme Court, we're looking at what the trial judge has done, what he or she has done, to make a determination if they have correctly applied the law to those facts. And so it's a different concept that you're dealing with from the trial bench and the appellate bench.
Plus, on the trial bench, you're interacting with people constantly, coming in and out of your courtroom or your chambers. You're listening to witnesses and parties and attorneys making their argument. So you're constantly interacting with people. And on the appellate bench, you spend most of your life reading. You don't interact with people all that often outside of your staff and the other people that you work with. Once a month or so, twice a month maybe, we get oral arguments where attorneys come in and make their case for 20 minutes on each side. But from that standpoint, it's a lot different than the trial bench.
But when the Chief Justice said evidence, so if it happens to be, I don't know if you even do a criminal case, I don't know, but what's collected at the crime scene, perhaps, that evidence is very vital. So when the policeman and the detective do their job, perhaps, is that vital to your job as well?
All right, we're reviewing that. We're reviewing what's presented in the trial court, and we'll be reading, Shawn said, we'll be reading the transcript of what the court reporters typed up and what was said and done at the trial court to make a determination as to whether somebody got a fair trial and a proper ruling.
And one of the things regarding evidence that we deal with, even though we're not making the initial determination like the trial court does, but we're looking at that, especially in the criminal cases, a lot of the arguments are, well, the judge shouldn't have allowed that piece of evidence to come in. They shouldn't have allowed that photo or that video or that testimony. And so we look at, not only are we applying the Constitution and the statutes that are out there, but we also have rules of procedure. Rules of evidence, and so we're looking to make sure that all those rules were followed in the process that led up to the conclusion of the trial at the circuit court level.
Final 2 minutes, gentlemen.
One thing I would mention, just as kind of an educational point, if you think of the court system like a pyramid, you've got the district courts that are kind of the base of the pyramid. During one of the breaks, I looked up some of the statistics, and I think we have somewhere a little over 900,000 cases that the district courts hear. Then stacked, and they're limited jurisdiction courts. Stacked above that, you have the circuit courts, which is what we both did for several years. General jurisdiction trial courts is how they're referred to. They hear your criminal and probate and civil and domestic and juvenile cases. About 200,000 cases there. So once you get past that circuit level, if people appeal those cases, they come up to the appellate courts. Well, the Court of Appeals in 2016, in our annual report, which is on the arcourts.gov website, shows that they heard about 1,200 cases. So that pyramid starts getting significantly smaller, but the work has a bigger impact as you go up. So of those 1,200 cases, they may be reviewing some criminal cases, some domestic cases, but at the Court of Appeals level, they also do a lot of agency appeals, employment security, workers' comp, things like that. And then when you get up to our level, we get the bigger cases, but we don't get as many cases. Yeah. In 2016, we had right at 400 cases that the Supreme Court heard. So, if you think of it, you've got that base where most people that are ever going to go to court are going to deal with the district courts on a traffic ticket or a small claims issue. As you go up that pyramid, fewer cases, but the importance of the cases go up.
We've been visiting with Chief Justice, Arkansas Supreme Court Dan Kemp, Associate Justice Shawn Womack. Gentlemen, it's been quite an honor to have you on the program today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Dale.
Thank you, Dale.
Final thoughts, 15 seconds, Chief?
Just like I mentioned, invite anybody to come down to our oral arguments, open to the public. And
I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
And I think, are we doing a Harrison oral argument?
I believe so.
Coming up in the spring, I think maybe in April. So
That sounds
we'll
good.
get more information about that.
Wraps it up. Back tomorrow.